Welcome to the Wellness for Women show, where we talk about life, weight loss and everything in between. I'm Faye Caseman, founder of the AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, and I'm here to help you put together the pieces of life and weight loss for one last time. This is an episode of the Wellness for Women show, filmed live in the free Facebook group.
I'm talking about how to combat perimenopause and menopause, including weight gain, so that you can feel like yourself again. So perimenopause and menopause, it can be a difficult time for us women. Am I right? Let me know. Again, let me know. Is this something that's affecting you at the moment? We can experience a range of changes in our body, our mind and soul. We can experience weight gain, bloating, changes in our own energy levels, sleep patterns, anxiety levels, just general drops in mood, plus so much more, right? There are good days, there are bad days, and there's days where you can feel like you're totally out of control, and then other days you can feel like you're walking on air. But help is at hand though. You do not have to go this alone. And in today's show, I'm going to talk about the impact that it can have on us and how you can use the 3 guiding fundamentals of awareness, action and accountability to help you lessen that impact and help you to take back control over that perimenopause and menopause so that it's not just something that's happening to us. As usual, if you want access to the show notes, let me know, leave me a hashtag show notes and I will drop you out them and the link after, so you've got it all to hand. And likewise, if you want to just generally drop me a DM anytime, if you fancy a chat or you've got something going on, let me know, just reach out to me, let's have a chat. Okay, so who am I though? So for those of you who don't know me, because we've had a little influx of new members this week, which is lovely. A good friend of mine had posted something locally, and I think that's where some of you have come from. So hello, very nice to see you. I am Faye Casement, creator of AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, where I help women ditch diets that keep them miserable and help them find weight loss, success and food freedom. And we do this the AAA way. So it's with the 3 A's, the awareness, the action and the accountability. But the thing with the AAA way is that it is not just a weight loss program. Oh, no. It's not just a weight loss program. It is a life and weight loss program because I am a trained life coach. And at the end of the day, you are a whole human being, and there's more to you than just your body, and more than just what we eat in our lives that's impacting on all of that. And so it's a program that really can help you with literally anything, basically. I know that's quite a big thing to say, but it honestly can. It can help you in any life area, but the main focus is weight loss. But it's about doing it in a way that is sustainable, not restrictive, and something that you can do for the rest of your life. And so this is why it fits perfectly with perimenopause and menopause. And like with anything that we do in the membership, in the VIP membership, it's about me walking alongside you and supporting you while you do that and while you find your way. So if you want to know more about the membership, so there is the free program, and then there is the VIP membership. I would obviously love it if I had every single one of you in my VIP membership walking alongside you. But if not, then there is the free version, which is basically just gives you an overview, but it's a bit more, you'd have to be more self-starting. Okay, so anyway, perimenopause and menopause. It is no secret that, like I say, if you are a woman of a certain age, then perimenopause or menopause is probably going to be heading your way. It's science, it's biology. And for some of us, it can be really quite life-changing in a number of different ways. So, I've been skulking about on social media, as one does when you have a business. And I see post after post on social media, again, not just with the weight loss, but again, people suffering with perimenopause and the menopause, struggling with the physical effects, the mental effects it can have. And again, a lot of people feeling really out of control and a little bit, if not a hell of a lot, miserable. And ultimately millions of women on the planet are going through the very same thing right now, but yeah, it can feel really lonely and really isolated. And apart from a few good groups out there, I've managed to find a couple of good groups to go into. There's really limited support out there. And I see, again, sort of a mixed bag of, responses about, what they get from the medical profession and that kind of thing. And I think it's difficult. And I think it's also a very individual journey. So again, it's a bit like with the weight loss. Weight loss is, again, my other strapline is that this is your life, your weight loss, your way, because I don't personally recommend any particular, like say, weight loss method like calorie counting or anything like that, because I don't think that any of us particularly do well if we're told what to do. And so what I help you to do is build your own way, basically. And it's the same with menopause and perimenopause. It's really important to get an understanding of your own journey, and then you can find the action steps that are going to suit you and your body and your mind. And then it's about accountability, so actually doing the do. So this is what I'm going to talk about a bit today. So I don't know whether you noticed, but I have been using the word we a lot so far. And that is because I have perimenopausal symptoms too. So I have changes in my hormones, my moods throughout the month, occasionally get brain fog. I can have concentration issues, forgetfulness, headaches, boob ache, cramps, irregular cycles, and night sweats. So delightful. And there are days when I question myself and I have lower confidence, and there are days when I think that I'm absolutely losing the plot, and then there is days when I'm on top of the world. And my biggest takeaway from all of that is that it can be really disorientating. And I think if I wasn't paying full attention to it and I wasn't using the tools that I do, I would be really suffering. There are days when I feel like I'm really suffering still, but they're short-lived because of the tools that I use. But it can be a never-ending roller coaster in there. The ups and downs can seem quite relentless, and I can never quite predict what's going to happen next, and it can be quite exhausting. And you want that ride to end, but you just don't know where the control buttons are. But what if I told you, like, say, that you could perhaps have more control than you think? And maybe you've got more buttons that you could be pressing than you possibly realise. And this is an important aspect of the AAA Way program. So although, like I say, its focus is on weight loss, there is so much more to it. So you've got the ability to lose weight in a sustainable way, but you can also work on anything else, because it is about really working on you as a whole being, mind, body, and soul. And I don't think that there's many programs out there that offer that breadth of support, basically. And perimenopause and menopause, just like any other life event, babies, long-term ill health, all those kind of things, they all have an impact on how we think, feel, and act. And so, what I want to do is just kind of deep dive into that a little bit and kind of say how the fundamentals can help you with that. So first up, the importance of understanding what it is. What is the perimenopause and menopause? How is it affecting your mind, body, and soul? So the awareness. Why is it important? So like I say, I don't know about you, but what I tend to find when my peri is playing up, my instant reaction is my first thoughts are always feeling completely lost. This is just what I feel. I suddenly feel like I am no longer the strong, capable woman that I have become, and know that I deep down am. I suddenly feel pathetic, out of control, and in a major funk. And I'm really kind of quite pissed off that this is happening to me. And I find it really easy, if I don't watch myself, to slip into judgment about how I'm feeling. I can think things like, this shouldn't be happening to me. I don't want to feel this way. This is crap. Why is it happening? What is happening? Why do I feel this way? And if I don't break into those thoughts with the toolbox of techniques that I've got, I can get just endless mind chatter about the situation, which ultimately is exhausting. And this is where the suffering comes into it, because, anything that we have, you might not feel this way depending on if you've got particular symptoms going on today, but ultimately any of the symptoms that we have from menopause, in coaching terms, we'd call it a situation, and all situations are neutral. Ooh, I don't know what's coming here, bear with me. I think I've clicked something.
StreamYard support. Have a great show.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelsey and Presley. I have got no idea how to stop that. Well, there you go. Little musical interlude. I obviously clicked something. There we go. So anyway, what I was saying was, before Kelsey and whoever rudely interrupted me there, yeah, anything that you have coming up in perimenopause or menopause, your symptoms, as much as that you're going to be feeling them physically at that time, they are still what we would call in coaching terms situations. I'm going to click off of this before I accidentally click something else. There we go. They are situations, and all situations are neutral until you apply a thought to it. And it's that thought that makes the situation positive, negative, or neutral. So as a recap, the main model that we teach or we use in my coaching school anyway is the STEER model. So basically a situation occurs, you have a thought, this leads to your emotion leads to action or inaction, and this creates your results. Now, of course, it's natural for our brains when a less desirable symptom comes up to jump straight to the negative thought, to why is this happening to me, and getting to judgment about that situation. But what if you could actually lessen the impact of that symptom with your mind? So, like I said above, my first thoughts, when something happens, like I have a symptom, so I say it's night sweats, because I'm not keen on the night sweats. It can lead to a negative emotion. So again, I'm in the middle of the night, all of a sudden I'm not feeling great. And then what could happen is that not only could my sleep be impacted by the night sweats, for example, but then so can my dreams, because it's about how you then go back to sleep. And so if I am fighting that situation and I am basically tossing, turning, kicking the sheets about, getting all angry at the fact that, I feel this way, I shouldn't feel this way, the chances are I'm not going to go back to sleep as quickly or as nicely as I could have done. And I will probably feel quite powerless. I'll feel out of control. And ultimately, it will send me into victim mode. And victim mode is where we start to shut ourselves off to solutions, because we're then thinking that we can't change it. We've got no power over it. So why would I bother to change something, basically? And what then happens is that the brain gets triggered. So it gets triggered into the flight, fight, freeze response. So I may get angry, I may cry, bitch, moan to anybody who'd listen. That's your fight, right? Or maybe you're going to do nothing. You're going to hide away and just wait till it passes. So that's your freeze. And I might go into flight mode and try and distract myself, eat, drink, which is where, again, it comes back to weight loss, because we can then sometimes, eat to try and get rid of the other emotions. So does this sound familiar? Let me know. And all of these are normal reactions. Of course they are. When you've got a physical situation going on, a physical or mental situation, of course it's going to generate those thoughts, and likewise may end up with, negative emotions, leading to you perhaps taking actions that aren't going to actually serve or aren't actually going to make the situation better. Now, not all negative emotions are bad. It's at the end of the day, it's how the body is designed. But again, it's your thoughts about negative emotions that are the key things, and whether you then turn them into something that's helpful or not helpful. And do you actually then take a step into action that will make you feel better, that solves that problem, solves that trigger? And the other thing with victim mode is that it can also bring additional settings of blame and excuses. So if it wasn't for XYZ or ABC, if it wasn't for XYZ, I'd be doing ABC, so fill in your own blanks. So if I wasn't so tired from the night sweats, I would be doing my morning exercises. If these damn periods would go away, I'd just be able to get on with my life. I can't seem to lose weight because of my perimenopause. I'm so anxious. It must be my hormones. So when we're blaming and excusing ourselves or the situation, the symptoms that are coming up, what it's actually doing is it's taking our focus off of us and our actions, and causes we're looking for temporary relief from the symptoms. We're looking for that get out of jail free card, so it's not my fault, gov. The hormones made me do it. Now, don't get me wrong, hormones are a bitch. I'm not trying to say that these symptoms don't suck. They do. They really do. And I'm not saying that you have got necessarily full control over your hormones, or that all of a sudden I'm going to be able to offer you some kind of miracle cure. But certainly the techniques that I teach you are certainly going to help you to lessen the temperature on those situations. Just like I say, it's no different to getting triggered by having an argument with your partner and deciding to go and eat or whatever. And so again, there's a bit of a debate there, you know, the age-old debate of nature and nurture. So are you actually impacted due to your hormones, or are they simply a trigger for your thoughts, and which lead to your feelings, your actions, and so on and so forth? But I say, if we don't really look at this and we just allow our brains to run riot, we'll just keep going in with blaming and excusing, and we can get really quite stuck and not move forward. But we do, and this is the key thing, ladies, we do have a choice, and we can decide in advance how we want to show up when these things come up. Likewise, we can get awareness. You can break into awareness. You can before an event, in an event, or after an event. And so, you know, in terms of awareness and gathering awareness, then, you know, you want to be trying to look at your patterns, knowing when things start to come up. And then when you're in the moment, trying to decide in advance, well, when this happens, what do you want to do? And then after the fact, saying, well, how did that go? Could I do something differently? So it's all quite simple stuff. It's no rocket science here, you know, but ultimately what you're trying to do is just find a bit of space. Doesn't have to be a long time, just to stop and observe, just to see what's happening, just to see if you can change the dialogue on the thoughts to something that's going to serve you more and lead to a better emotional state, and then lead to you taking better actions for yourself. So there are these physical symptoms, of course. These will differ from woman to woman. But did you know that the AAA way method also helps with these? Because we do a lot on mindfulness, or I'm very interested in mindfulness. So ultimately, the first thing is about when you start to understand what's happening in your body, because you're gathering this awareness, again, you start to see things in a different light. So again, somehow just knowing, for example, that forgetfulness and brain fog can be due to low estrogen levels, and night sweats can be due to hormonal changes. Knowing that it is, or reminding yourself that it is natural, it's just a physical symptom. Again, I know that's easier said than done when you're going through it and it's not feeling very nice, but you know, just recognizing and really kind of getting, it's all about sort of stepping into acceptance a little bit, acceptance of that this is what's happening, because again, this is where some of the suffering can come out of the process. You know, and so with regards to weight gain, for example, you know, there's no definitive answer with that. It could be the fluctuating in hormones that impact it. It could be, like, say, your thoughts, because you're just trying to escape from other symptoms. And so therefore there's, you know, the different types of eating going on. All sorts of things can impact the weight side of it. But again, like I say, shock and horror, if you've listened to any of my stuff before, the starting point is awareness. Like I say, I'm not trying to knock anything that anybody's going through. I hope that is not how any of this comes across, because I know that, you know, some of you will be having a really tough time. Like I say, I have days like that myself. I do get that. But ultimately, if we only focus on the symptoms and how crap they are and how we're feeling, you're just going to get stuck in that cycle. And if you want to try and find relief from that cycle, you want to try and find a way out of it. You know, at the end of the day, we don't want to feel like we do. It's confusing. You feel rubbish. You know, but actually, once you've gathered that intel on how it is impacting your mind, body, and soul, I say you can then start to step into action. Okay, so how do we step into action? How? Well, you know, ultimately, always remember that you deserve to be the heroines of your own stories. So, you know, we are not damsels in distress in old movies, like the movies would have us believe. Cough, cough, Disney. You know, I'm not waiting for Prince Charming to come and save me or whatever else. You know, we are strong, powerful, capable women who can do anything our brain fogged minds, you know, we are set to. You know, what I think is that it's really quite nuts how our brain and our body work sometimes. So, you know, at the end of the day, our brain wants to keep us safe. It doesn't like the fact that we feel rubbish. It doesn't like the fact that there's all these hormones flying about, knocking it out of equilibrium and status quo. And it doesn't know that we're trying to figure out the situation, and it doesn't really know what the hell's going on. And so when you're feeling turbulent and your mind is trying to regulate, the problem is it doesn't know how. It just knows that it's feeling turbulent, and it will then encourage you to do things to make you feel better, like eating, like starting a fight with your partner because you've got upset and you're blaming them for something, so it all starts with that thought process still, even when we're having quite physical symptoms. So for example, if you have periods in the month where you're feeling really, really, really low, everything's a real chore, that again, it's very similar to me. It's like I know that there's hormonal elements to how I feel within the month, and so for me, for example, I tend to have a really low mood for a couple of days around ovulation time, and a couple of really low days at in my period week. But the point is, I know that now because I've tracked that, and I know my patterns. And so when I start to feel that way, so to start off with, I would be like, why am I feeling this way? I don't want to feel this way. This is wrong. I should be able to change this. I should, or I shouldn't. I was creating my own suffering, which was then adding to that mood, so what was already lower was now then getting lower again because of my thoughts. So the point is, I know now what my patterns are. I've established how it impacts me. And it was the same with my weight loss, my hormones, because I've been perimenopausal throughout the whole of my weight loss as well. I actually had 2 weeks where I would lose weight, and then 2 weeks where I'd maintain or have a little gain. So again, my pattern was very evident, even though I would kind of eat the same things. It was very much cycle related. Now, as a dieter, you'd get all up in your head over the fact that you've had 2 weeks of gain. So I had to do a lot of work on accepting that situation to start with. That doesn't mean to say that you acceptance doesn't mean accepting and don't do anything about it. It means just recognizing that you are where you are, so that you're not adding suffering to it. And my choices when I know that I'm having this low mood is, do I do nothing? Do I wallow in it? Do I sit in my shitty diaper over it? Do I actively listen to my mind, body and soul? Do I do what it's telling me to do? And if it is telling me that I need to rest, do I rest, or do I just try and fight it and keep going? Do I make a plan for when these days hit, so that my life and weight loss is not as impacted as it could be? I could use mindfulness techniques to try and bolster my mood, or to work through whatever's coming up. And obviously I could seek professional support, because again, none of what I'm saying here doesn't mean you should obviously not consult with doctors if you need to, and if I'm perfectly honest, I'm still trying to figure this out myself, so like I say, I'm not offering a miracle cure here, but what I am offering is that I think that there are ways and means with self-life coaching, mindfulness, those kind of things, where you can actually really try and help yourself lessen the symptoms. It's a bit like, again, with the weight loss, some things might be born out of habits, and thought work and that kind of thing can help with those. But like I say, my goal right now when I'm getting in these low moods is to recognize that that's when I can get into judge mode, and that I'm just trying to observe and go with the flow at the minute, so that I'm just lessening that suffering. And there's lots of other things that you could try. There is no rights and wrongs here. You ultimately just pick something and try it out. And if you wanted to, you could use my 5 Ds of action process. So I did the 5 Ds of action of eating out, wasn't it? Probably about 3 weeks ago. If you went into the learning content, you'd see it. If you're struggling to find it, let me know, and I'll put it in the chat. But yeah, so you could use that framework as well, just to try and, let's say, step into action, take control back by getting into action. So okay, I'm waffling away, and we had that little musical interlude, but I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about this topic as well. So her name is Kathy Hutchinson. She is a counsellor and hypnotherapist, and she's done a lot of work studying the menopause, and we had a really good chat about the benefits, and hypnotherapy is also something that can help with menopause. So did you know, for example, it's possible to use hypnotherapy and your mind even to do things like drop your core body temperature, which can be great for flushes. So who knew that was the case? And we talked about mindfulness and how if you are having a flush, for example, that could have a knock-on effect if you don't tackle it. For example, you could feel a flush coming on, and maybe there's that element of panic, and the thoughts would come in of not now, not again, this is embarrassing. And those kind of thoughts under normal circumstances are going to heighten your body's response, because again, you're bringing it into flight or flight mood. I can never say those, too many F's. And so even that is going to warm you up a little and might even, make you flush or make you flush for longer. Now, like I say, I can only say try these things out because I'm not having hot flushes yet, for example. But when I do, I am certainly going to be trying mindfulness, self-soothing, relaxation techniques, that kind of thing. I know that they help with anxiety, and I know that they help with night sweats because I use those actively in my own day-to-day life. It's just, like I say, about having a go at doing different things, seeing what comes up, looking at patterns, playing about with food, changing things up, leveling things up. But it's also about stepping into self-compassion. And you all know, hopefully, if you've watched any of my other lives, I'm a huge advocate for self-curiosity and compassion in your weight loss. And this goes across the whole of life as well, too. Okay, last bit, accountability. So accountability is it's the key to getting anything done, and sustainability at the end of the day. And it's no different with your perimenopause and your menopause. It's if it was weight loss, it can be difficult with weight loss if you don't hold yourself accountable or have a community or group behind you that can help you to stay accountable. And that's going to be the same with your symptoms as well if you're feeling out of control. But by taking action, being accountable to yourself, you can make that process easier. And one way to be accountable is to do things like keep a journal. So this could be a physical journal, an online journal, or an app. Use it to track your symptoms, your moods, your thoughts. That will help you to identify your patterns and triggers. And it can also release, obviously, some pent-up emotions that you might be feeling. I also did a live on journaling as well, should you need one. Another way to be accountable is to tell somebody else what you're going through. You don't have to suffer alone, and certainly not nowadays when there's so many support groups out there on Facebook and that kind of thing. So tell somebody about what's going on. Could be a friend, could be family member, healthcare professional, but just again talking about it, feeling less alone, feeling supported. And that's the kind of thing that we do in the menopause, in the membership. We have 2 calls a week at the moment. We have a Thursday night and a Sunday morning where we will literally talk life and weight loss, anything that's coming up. There's coaching, and I do active coaching if you need it. But other than that, we are just all sitting around our own campfire and just working through, everything that we need to work through. But yeah, and other than that, making sure that you are looking after yourself, and that does include, looking to work on eating perhaps a healthier diet, moving regularly, working on your sleep hygiene practices, all the kind of self-care things that will keep you in as best physical health as possible. So if you are in the Wellness for Women, well, you're obviously in the Wellness for Women group, but if you're in the free program, in the little accountability section, why not share what you've got going on in there? It's a safe space for you to do so. And if you are in the VIP membership, or you become a VIP member, the community is there for you as well. Okay, right, ladies, I will love you and leave you because it's going past 9 o'clock. So in conclusion, my little recap, it is important to get to know the impact, get really aware of how it is impacting your mind, body and soul. So gather awareness. Like I say, maybe you might be able to find some patterns, find out some triggers that, again, you can just knock those out. And then you're going to step into action and look to try and find little ways to change them. And continue with your accountability. Seek support if you need to. Practice your self-love, practice your self-compassion, practice your self-care. But if nothing else, just remember that you're doing your best and that you have got this. So leave me, as I say, any hashtag gems that came out of that. Let me know, in the comments if you found this useful. Drop me a DM if you don't feel comfortable leaving messages. And I would, again, absolutely love it to have every single one of you in the VIP membership with us all figuring all of this out together. So head over to the website, triple-a-way.com. check out the membership, and I hope to see you guys in there very soon, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to boost your life and weight loss the AAA way, check out the relevant links for today's show in the description. Speak soon.